That's right.
Thank you. Yeah, we are a pas de trois as well as a coalition, so maybe that's a new political paradigm we can move into. This bit really is just to bring you up to speed with what we've done so far, and if anybody was at the presentation a couple of years ago, some of it will be familiar. We have gone back to Suzanne's report, and we have gone back to a number of the bits and pieces, the bits and pieces that were relevant to that, so you'll spot that as we go through. So what have we done so far? We started by looking at the models that exist in other sectors. And the reason for doing that was just to check out, again, whether anything was going to be a perfect fit and we could just move in. That seemed to be quite a nice idea. We didn't find one of those, but we did find quite a number of organisations that were in some way regulating a profession or an aspect of a profession. So we nicked, really, any key elements that seemed to be vaguely relevant to dance. From there, we consulted with DTAP partners. That was both as a grouping, but also individually, so we were able to go into a bit more depth about all the different sectors. There's a nice, handy little display here, in case anybody's forgotten who all the DTAP partners are. And as you can see, they do represent quite a wide range of subsectors, if you like, of the dance profession, but they all have a specific kind of community as well. So we wanted to get that sort of breadth by meeting with the group, but also that depth. And we've also had some initial conversations with CC Skills, one or two other people. But the important thing we said right up at the beginning is that today is your opportunity to contribute to the design of this thing, whatever it's going to be. This is just the list of the existing models that we looked at through our glasses. You can see they're very different orders of I do have a very feeble sense of humour at times. But we looked at a number of different organisations of different orders. So some of those are actually sector skills councils, the Children's Workforce Development Council, for example. So it does have a kind of statutory role. And some of the others are actually a part of or wholly owned by a sector skills council. So the Register of Exercise Professionals is also a wholly owned subsidiary of Skills Active, which is the Sport and Recreation Sector Skills Council, I think. So apologies if I've got that wrong. Some of them are very old. So the Chartered Institute of Personnel Development started about over 100 years ago, and it's changed its name. It felt to me like every other year ever since. And it's come out of some developments which were partly to do with workforce development and partly to do with legal structures. And that's one of the reasons it's changed. Sorry, I'm not doing this very well, am I? I keep moving my head. Sorry. Thank you. But the interesting thing about that as well is it only became a chartered institute in 2003. The Incorporated Society of Musicians is also quite old, whereas Music Leader is very much younger and is run by or established by Youth Music. So they've all come from a very different place, and they've all, in some way or another, regulating or quality assuring professional standards in their sector or subsector, and in some sectors there's more than one. So it is quite confusing. There isn't actually a sort of simple pattern, but they are all doing things that are, in some way or another, of interest to us at this point in the research. In talking to all the members individually and collectively, we came up with some very large key themes. If you like, these are the sort of principles that are now guiding us as we move into the next stage. The first is, as we've said already, it should embrace the breadth and the diversity of dance. It includes everybody. It should be aspirational, which is both capable of raising standards in dance teaching, but also raising aspiration for individual dance teachers. It should increase opportunities to raise the profile and status of dance teachers as well. There's a lot of feeling that because there wasn't a sort of easy way of recognising where people were in terms of qualifications and experience, that actually quite often dance teachers could be any old thing, and that sort of status is undermined by that. And clearly, there will need to be some form of mechanism to run the framework, to keep it live and current. Felicity was saying earlier, we don't know how many sector skills councils will be next week, and certainly at the moment things are changing. Sunday we're talking about getting rid of the Qualifications Curriculum Development Authority. Yeah, so all of those things are going to have an impact on anything that we do moving forwards, but we can't ever assume they've sorted it and it's going to stay that way. So some sort of mechanism to keep it live is going to be important. And now I'm going to hand over to Rachel.